What's going on YouTube world? Austin Zay back here with another YouTube video, and in this video I'm going to bring on a special guest here in just a minute, and we're going to talk about driving for dollars. Now, driving for dollars is how I actually find the majority of my distressed off-market properties, okay? It is one of those things that I've been doing forever, and it is how I'm able to wholesale anywhere from 20 to 30 deals a month. It is also where I typically find our below market value rental properties, and also where we find our below market value fix and flip properties. The quality of the video with the guest I'm about to bring on is probably not going to be amazing, but I promise you the value is going to be incredible. So if you wouldn't mind just staying to the very end of the video regardless, because I'm telling you, the value is going to be like no other, and we're gonna break down our favorite platform and how we use it literally step by step. So if you wouldn't mind taking just a quick moment and just smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
Austin, thanks again for having me on. Very excited to be able to kind of show you guys a sneak peek here today that we'll be going live around the end of November. So this is kind of straight out of the development lab here at Deal Machine, and you're really getting, being one of the first people to see this kind of new specific feature. Anything we do, like you said, anything we do, it's around how do we help real estate investors generate leads. So really find off-market properties, and that can be, through driving for dollars. Anything that we put out is going to be focused on helping them find those off-market deals and then better market to those people. And that means, postcards or skip tracing or things like that through the app. I think, our goals when it comes to why do we want to help investors like that? It's we want to save them time, which is what this feature is all about. We want to save them money. So help them, get the most bang for their buck, the most ROI around, their marketing dollars. So I'll actually go in here today and show kind of the test flight mode on my phone, what we're currently working with for that new feature. We recently launched a dashboard to help think about the saving money aspect of what I'm talking about. And then this driving portion will be, the planned route mode. We've had route tracker for quite a while, which is just showing where you have been. This is kind of projecting it into the future to say, here's where you should go. Here's how you save as much time as possible while driving a specific route. So, I'll talk about that here a little bit as well. Cool. So here's the dashboard we're talking about. So this specific dashboard, like you just touched on, the whole goal of this is to really help you be very metrics driven. It's to help you really understand, how many leads is it going to take? How many, what can I fill at the top of my funnel to get the numbers at the bottom of my funnel that I want to see? Where you can go in here, the two or three main things you can play around with. It's how much top line revenue, profit, overall gross profit that you want to hit, to begin with. So you can kind of adjust that per month. And then also say, what are we netting per deal as well? Kind of let's make an estimate there. And that way, it'll also, and then you can adjust how many drivers, if you have a whole, team out there driving for dollars for you, you can adjust that here as well. But what it'll come back with automatically is it'll use our own metrics to say, okay, we automatically put in here a 300-to-1 ratio. So that ratio is 300 leads per contract signed, which is pretty conservative. Like that's something that, we've seen people definitely, putting way less leads and land deals like that. But I think that's a good way to at least set the right expectation of saying, hey, you need a good number of qualified, off-market properties to market to get those contracts signed, right? So, going in here with those metrics of saying, hey, I want to basically land 2 deals per month, 10K deal up to 20K top line. For those 2 deals per month, that'll equal about 600 leads that we say that you should try to put into your list and actually start marketing to. So that's kind of, a little bit of the math behind it. Based on that, and if you say, okay, if I have 2 drivers out here for me driving around, myself and a spouse or a friend or somebody else, on the app with me, each of those drivers will need to add in 75 properties per week to hit that 600 leads per month metric. And then it'll break it down even further and say, okay, that is based on 12 properties added per hour. So, and 7 hours of weekly drive time per driver. So this is showing you like, hey, if you can get each driver to drive an hour a day essentially and add 12 properties per day, which is a very low conservative amount. We've definitely seen people add up to like 60 properties even like once a minute if you're really really good at it. But this specific approach would be once every 5 minutes add a property, drive 1 hour a day. For each driver you're going to hit those metrics of 600 leads a month and equal out to roughly 2 contracts a month.
Yep, that's incredible. That's a really cool feature. I think it gives investors, especially like newer investors, a really good understanding of what it is that they need to be doing. It's almost an accountability metric, right? Where
Yep.
it's looking at it and saying, okay, here's exactly what I need to be doing conservatively to actually reach the target, right? To hit the goal. And I think a lot of the newer investors, they don't know, right? The idea of wholesaling sounds great, or the idea of fix and flipping, or the idea of just being a real estate investor, but they don't really know at the end of the day what they need to do. I get people ask me all the time, well, how many calls do I need to make, or how many houses do I need to knock, or how many mailers do I need to send? And this, kind of gives that to you on a silver platter as soon as you download the app.
Yeah, and we're trying to set the expectations there too of like measure what you're doing, be very metrics driven to be able to, you're not going to improve on anything you're not measuring, right? And then outside of that too, like really looking here to understand what's realistic and how much work do I need to put into this? Like how do I make especially when you're focused on getting out there and creating that original list of leads by driving around, like that's a muscle that you or your drivers will have to exercise, and it will require consistency. So this is showing you like, hey, an hour a day is definitely a commitment, but it's also very reasonable. And it's something that if you're going to look at, your annual profit on the year, like if you look at what that would mean if you subtracted out your expenses in terms of paying for drivers to drive around for you, paying for marketing, like paying for your actual postcards you're sending out, paying for the technology, through the Deal Machine app, things like that. This is going to really, be a profitable effort for you. But we want to set the right expectations still of saying like, hey, there's work that needs to be done to get to those metrics.
For sure, I love it. That's awesome, man. That's
cool.
Really
So started there, really focused on helping people, improve their expectations going in and really set goals. And then here's, in that feature, again, it should be live if you update the Deal Machine app right now. Now this feature here, this is the one that you'll see at the end of the month that we're really, really excited about, where if you hit, if you go into the map, this is kind of like our default view on the phone if you're driving around, you hit start driving, and now instead of free drive mode is just what you're used to. It's getting out there and just driving around and not having any specific direction, but being able to start to add properties on here. Now we have the planned route mode, which we're really excited about. Let me see if this will work. Sometimes I'll have to actually physically get up and walk around it to activate it, but let's see. If you hit planned route mode, you can either choose from a current list. So if you've built a list of leads, but you still need to drive past those properties and verify that they're distressed, you can import a list and do that. Or what most people are probably going to do, you hit create plan. You can go in here and let me enter my zip code and then say, all right, show me all of the vacant properties around me. And there you go. If it up to 500 leads, it'll show you. Once it hits over 500, that's not even really reasonable for you to drive around and hit all of them. But here you'll see automatically you've got 163 leads to start with right away. And here's the part. Hopefully, let's see if this works. All right, cool. Automatically activated. Now we'll hear GPS for a second.
Your first turn left onto Mackland Avenue, then turn left.
There you go. So you'll see these highlighted properties will pop up and it'll show you like, hey, we're taking to this property, then this one, then this one. And it's going to show you the quickest way possible to hit every single property on your list or on, that meets your criteria. So really, really excited about this. Again, focused on saving you as much time as possible, so you don't have to go out there and just try to figure out how to hit every property or even ever leave the app again when it comes to GPS. Now it's all within the app. It'll show you go here, go here, go here, go here, and it'll point to you exactly how, the quickest route possible to hit every list and verify those leads in person, while you're driving around.
It's a super cool feature. I mean, now that you have the different capabilities inside of Deal Machine, it's really cool because before there was so many different softwares that a person needed, right? A real estate investor needed, the skip tracing software, and they needed to go pull lists, and they needed to do, they needed the Driving for Dollars app, and there was all these different things that, you needed in order to potentially find distressed sellers, right? Off market deals, and ultimately get contracts signed. And now, Deal Machine's really bringing in a lot of that to where, like you even said, like the little stuff, right? Like the maps. You don't have to actually, try to be, mapping, yourself on a different, mapping device, simultaneously while being, driving a Deal Machine or whatever. Now everything's kind of all in one application.
Yeah, and I mean, we're really excited. Like, we love listening to you guys, the Deal Machine members that are using the app and saying, hey, I'd love if it could do this or if it could do that. Like, that's where we get a lot of our information on what we want to do next, and how we can continue to provide value to you guys. So yeah, this was something where, we had always heard route tracking was phenomenal. So I can see where I've been, but how do I project into the future? How do I save time and really make sure that I'm using it most efficiently and taking the most direct route and hitting all the properties that I need to get in front of? That's what this is focused on doing. So we're excited and hoping this will be a game changer for a lot of people too.
It's super cool, man. Yeah, very, very cool. So right now, as it stands, you can go into the app and up to 500, right? When you're doing the planned route, you can look at what vacant properties, pre-foreclosures, probably some of the different what are the different quick lists that you can look at through, when you're just doing the planned route?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, pre-foreclosed, vacant, absentee, behind on taxes, those are probably our most popular. We definitely have, we have a couple like quick list options that you can just select right away, that if you're driving around, you can, that makes it really easy for you to just highlight and see, I think bank owned, owners of multiple properties, foreclosures, pre-foreclosed. So there's like 7 or 8 options right there. And then, outside of that, you can actually get really, really specific. So you can do a custom filter to say, hey, show me every vacant property that's worth less than 300K that hasn't sold for 10 years and is in this neighborhood. You can get really, really narrow and niche to make sure that you're getting in front of the exact potential seller and exact, qualified property owner. And all of those factors is what's going to make your marketing budget, have the best ROI possible. If you can get really, really specific and find your niche and find, here's the type of owner that I can really pitch well and really responds, then you can narrow down your target list, and every dollar you spend marketing to them is going to go much further than kind of these broad marketing blasts that you can do outside of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool, man. It's really cool. I'm excited. I know for sure about the future. We obviously wholesale, Matt, as you know, we probably are wholesaling anywhere from 20 to 25 deals a month right now in our actual business. So it's cool to, there's been a lot of talk internally in my team to kind of build out a couple of new markets and actually build out, another Driving for Dollars kind of team, across, multiple different markets. So it'd be really cool to take advantage of the app, even for me at a higher level than I have, previously. And obviously, we've gotten a lot of deals from Driving for Dollars and door knocking and really just being out there in the streets, right? And I think, so many people, they want to just sit, in their living room and like we were kind of talking about, right? It's just, taking it to the next level and putting eyes on the property and really saying, okay, this is a property that is vacant. Maybe it's in pre-foreclosure. It hasn't been sold in 5 or 10 years, and really stacking that list and then visually seeing the property and seeing, okay, and not only that, but I'm confirming with my own eyes that the weeds are overgrown, the windows are boarded up. Like, that is a payday just waiting to happen, right?
Yep. And then when you reach out to the person too, you can get really specific and say, hey, I'm a local investor. I drove by and saw this was wrong with the property. Like, the more details you can include in those conversations, the more quickly you can really kind of build trust with that individual and really show you've put in your due diligence and whatnot. But yeah, this feature, this specific route planning feature, it's going to be live, right around end of month. Anybody pro level and up with us, Kind of version 2 is going to be actually being able to assign that to people as well. So anyone that goes in the app can use it, but to have kind of the driving team leaders be able to assign it out and say, hey, this driver go here, this driver go here, that's going to be kind of version 2 as well. So that, that's projecting out into the future, but very excited about kind of, where this is headed for you.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you hopping on here, Matt. For anybody watching or listening, I'll put the link, either on the screen or in the description down below. Definitely go check that out. I believe there's a benefit if they use my link, I think, of some sort, right, Matt?
Yeah, so anybody using your link, they should get 15 free deal credits, which is $15 towards marketing, towards skip tracing, towards getting in touch with these owners. So, if we're giving you like a 7-day free trial to even try it out, and then giving you even more towards actually making conversations happen. So, hopefully you can get out there, start making conversations, start building momentum, start to see this work, and take some action, and have fun while doing it.
There you have it. That is the application that I use literally every single day in my own personal business. If you're still watching, by the way, at the very end of the video, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind just considering just going ahead and subscribing to my YouTube channel. We're typically talking about real estate, about business, about finance, and I promise you I'm gonna bring a ton of value. Also, all of the links that we talked about are gonna be in the description down below. And you can go onto Deal Machine's website and use my last name, Zabak, and that'll get you a little bit of a head start in terms of having a little bit of credit on your account. Again, I appreciate you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.